Hi, everybody. This is Jessica Canty. I am your life and career strategist. I'm here to have another careers and coffee chat with you. If this is the first time we're meeting, hello. I'm a life and career strategist because I have a passion for helping people go from unfulfilled jobs to their dream careers. And every Tuesday morning at 10:30, we have a little careers and coffee chat. What exactly is that? We get our cups of coffee and we intentionally press pause on all the hard work we've done up until our 10:30 break, and we talk about things that are going to help accelerate our career goals. So a couple of different things that we do with this conversation is I answer questions, I give wisdom, and I point you in the right direction, because that's the goal of a life and career strategist, to give you the skills, tools, equipment, and tribe that you need to accelerate those career goals. But we don't stop there with careers and coffee chat. We also have a podcast. Yep, I said it, a podcast. That's cubicle conversations, discussions to accelerate your career goals. So if you like podcasts, you already have an app on your phone. Why don't you look up cubicle conversations, discussions to accelerate your career goals? But we don't stop there. Hello, welcome. We don't stop there. You can head over to Jessica Canty, jessicacanty.com, so you can see even more of the good stuff we're in store for. Just linked up with a new publisher, because we've got a new product coming out this summer that I am chomping at the bit for it to get into your hands, because this is the time to get clear about your career goals and to chart the path forward to having a career that you're passionate about, to having a career that's going to provide for your life, to have a career where you see your check and you're satisfied with what you are seeing on that check. So today, what's on my heart, what's on my mind, and you all can chime in, send me questions or anything of that nature, is talking about when to make the determination, or how do you know it's time to switch careers? It's time to leave your current job. I want to keep this conversation going because this one's going to be brief. I know you're working hard. I know you got to get back to your work, even if you're working from home or if you're working physically in the building. I know that you have to make this a quick conversation. So this conversation will be continued, one, in our cubicle country on our LinkedIn group. So if you like what you hear, if you are in the market to move from an unfulfilling job to a dream career, if you're in the market for opportunity to chase you down instead of you having to chase it down, you want to head over to LinkedIn and sign up, join Cubicle Country, because that's where the conversation continues. That's where I give exclusive resources. That's where you'll see the podcast before everybody else. So you want to sign up for Cubicle Country. We're all in this together. You want a tribe of people who are pressing towards goals of dream careers. You want a tribe of people who get your struggles, your frustrations, and want to see you excel. So your homework for this conversation is to head over. First, you want to subscribe to the podcast, because I can't wait for you to hear what's on Saturday. On Saturday, it is on point messaging for this crowded job market you are entering. What do you need to know in order to accomplish your success goals? What do you need to know to accomplish those career aspirations? So check out the podcast. This Saturday, a new episode drops. Secondly, you need to head over to LinkedIn and join Cubicle Country. I already have a free resource waiting for you. It's your success checklist. So you want to go over there and check that out. And while you're doing that, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Why? Because I've got plenty of interviews over there with subject matter experts to accelerate your career goals. I've got instructional workshops that you can get your pen, your paper. Hello. You can get your pen, your paper, and write down all that great wisdom that's on that YouTube channel. So let's get into this conversation. How do I know that it's time to shift gears with my current job or my current profession? I'm going to give you a couple of tips, some things to consider. One, you want to consider, what are the benefits to staying in your job? What do I mean by that? Beyond healthcare benefits, beyond looking at the paycheck or the status or the role that you receive at your job, you need to ask yourself, what are the benefits to staying at this job? Did you like your commute when you were commuting? Were you given the equipment and tools to be successful to work from home? Do you get along well with your colleagues and your management? Are you management? Do you get along with your staff? These are the benefits that no one can say to you, or no one can put on a contract for you to say these are the official benefits. But these are the benefits that are either going to bring you joy or put you in a place of frustration and misery and just being plain old disgruntled. So you need to get a pen and piece of paper and write down, what are the benefits of staying in this job? If you have at least 5 benefits, I'm going to suggest you to consider, what are the challenges? Because if you've got at least 5 benefits outside of health insurance, outside of FMLA, outside of all of those things that HR can write up in a contract, then that might be a place that you want to stay in. But you also want to consider your challenges. You want to think about the top 5 challenges you're experiencing, because these are the things that slowly eat away at your energy. These are the things that slowly eat away at your joy. So what are those top 5 challenges? Now, I'm not talking about project deadlines, because no matter where you're going to go, you're going to have project deadlines. I'm not talking about whether or not, you're able to type in your information fast enough on a computer. But what I'm talking about are those underlying challenges that, again, won't be on any contract or any work plan. Like, do you get along with your colleagues? Are you able to work with their personalities and their expertise? Do you feel like your expertise is being valued? Or do you feel like because you have a role, a title that most don't think are very highly of, you're treated poorly? Like, if you're a secretary, you are the heartbeat of that company. People don't know what to do if you're not in the office. You are a vital part of the team. But are you treated that way? That will be a challenge. And then the other challenges I want you to think about are some of those lifestyle challenges. Are you able to connect with the significant people in your life in a way of ease and a passion? What do I mean by that? I'm a mom of a 9-year-old. I absolutely love my career. I am blessed to have 2 different careers, welcome you all, that allow me to spend time with my daughter, that allow me to be flexible to meet the deadlines, that I've got management who understands what it means to be a working mom, who understands that I want to give them the best that I can with the work with my skills and my talent, that I'm consistently looking at how to make sure that their team looks good. But that would be an incredibly hard place to work in if I had management that didn't get that. If I'd had management that didn't understand, okay, if my daughter has a cold and the school calls, I've got to go. Maybe you have a loved one you're caring for. Maybe you're caring for your parents. Maybe you're caring for your fur baby that might have a doctor's appointment. Maybe you just need a mental health day. Is that something that's a requirement for you and you're not getting it? That would be one of the challenges. The other thing that's a challenge that other people overlook is the amount of time and effort it takes to get to the job. I actually worked a job before where a gentleman lived in Delaware and commuted to Maryland every day, from Delaware to Maryland. Now, Delaware is a quick little easy breezy trip over a weekend trip, but every day, Monday through Friday, he traveled from Delaware to Maryland. And if you're from this area, you know that was a commute for him, for a daily commute. But he believes so much in the mission of the agency he and I worked for that it was okay for him. So that wasn't a challenge. That was a benefit for him. He said that's the time that he relaxes. That's the time that he reads his books. That's the time he prepares for projects. So he loved it. On the other hand, it could be a challenge to commute if it's 15 minutes away from your house, because it's in a bad headspace. When you're getting in the car, you're like, I don't like this job. I don't want to have to do this. People don't understand my struggles. People don't understand the hard work that I'm putting into it. So that's a challenge. You got to think about your commute time and its impact on you, because it could be impactful at 15 minutes and be joyous at an hour and a half to 2 hours. So you really want to ask yourself that. Here's a question I want you to ask yourself. If you're thinking about switching professions, unfortunately, as a global community, we are experiencing a pandemic that is putting a lot of us in a career crisis. Some of us are receiving paychecks. Some of us are not receiving paychecks. Some of us are receiving paychecks and we're not sure how much longer we're going to receive those paychecks. So it's really a time to stop and think, okay, do I want to stay in this profession? Am I willing to switch gears to gain some skills until I can acquire my dream career. What does that mean? I'm going to tell you what that means. So some of us are, especially for those who are in businesses that had to lay off people, I'm so sorry. And I feel your heart and I feel your pain. I understand what it feels like to not know, how am I going to feed my family? How am I going to pay my bills? Believe me, I've been there. I completely understand. So the question you want to ask yourself, though, am I willing to switch professions to continue practicing my skills so that when that dream career comes around, I didn't lose any momentum with practicing those skills? What does that mean? Let's just say that you were in a company where you were a manager of a company, but like, let's just say you were a manager of a restaurant, or you may have been a manager of, or you may have been like a hair salon owner or a barber, because a lot of those companies and a lot of those entrepreneurs are really suffering right now because you really can't but so much put that online. You could do tutorials and charge people for workshops, which is a great idea if you want to do that. However, that steady stream of income has been impacted by this pandemic. So the question you want to ask yourself is, am I willing to go say, hey, grab a temporary job at my local pharmacy? Am I willing to grab a temporary job, say, at my local big box store? Let me just give you a suggestion. So like, you may have owned your own barbershop. Are you willing to go work at Walmart so that you can continue to practice those managerial skills? Now, this is not saying that you're giving up on your hopes and your dreams for the business, but this is saying I am consistently practicing those managerial skills. I am making sure I'm able to pivot, that I am flexible and adaptable. So should something else like this happen, I'm already ready. And I could also make connections while working at Walmart. Just check this out for a second. If I own a barbershop, if I own a hair salon, if I own a restaurant, and I go work at Walmart, I can see what works well for their company, what doesn't work well. I can see how their employees respond to management. I may even be able to make connections with some of the vendors that supply things for Walmart. I might discover new products for my business. So it's not a step down or a step out of your career path. It's another way to add ingenuity to your career path. I was on a conversation before where I was another entrepreneur where she was a doctor, literally a doctor, healing the sick and helping those who need the help for their physical bodies, and switched gears to retail. And she was saying that her skills were transferable from being a doctor to retail. So the same can be applicable to you. Think about your transferable skills and how you could provide transformations in different career fields. Okay, you all. So I gave you a couple of tips. That's one, to ask, what are the benefits of staying? Not your health insurance, not your 401k, but I'm talking about the day-to-day benefits. What about, I have a question. What do you think about going to grad school as a wife? Absolutely. I'm here for going to graduate school as a wife, a mom, and a church leader. Why is that? Now, I want you to assess the benefits and the challenges, but I'm such I'm an advocate for higher levels of education because of the climate that we live and work in. A lot of careers won't open up to you unless they see some form of education. Doesn't mean that the education has to be formal education like a master's degree, but they want to see years of experience. They want to see years of exposure. But I'm an advocate for education. I am a wife. I am a mom. I am in ministry. I am an entrepreneur. So I know how crazy that schedule can be. I was up late last night doing my homework till almost 11 o'clock at night. But I kept my mind on how this is going to help me pivot. How is this going to help me excel? Whose life can I touch by learning what I'm learning right now? So I am such an advocate for accelerating your education, be it formally, like at a university, or be it you're taking workshops online or getting additional support from a coach or a mentor. I am so for it. So get that education. Such a great question. I'm so glad you asked that question. The second thing is I want you to remember your challenges. Be clear with yourself. Be transparent. Be very, very honest. If it's challenging, don't worry about what other people think when you say, oh, I only have to commute 20 minutes and I get, then you would go for it, Eye Candy. I am. If it's going to help you pivot, I'm so for it, honey. I'm so for the pivot because I'm not the person who can stay in that tight space without a plan out. I'm ready to pivot.
I have patience for pivot. I don't have patience for stopping. I have a patience for pivot. So go for it. And I'm cheering you on. Go for it, girl. Okay, so you want to make sure you're very clear about your own particular challenges. If it's challenging for you to get out of bed and commute from your pillow to your computer, that's a challenge. That means that even if your commute is very, very short, because it's still not the right place for you. The other thing is, the last tip I gave was, if you're thinking about, okay, what do I do in the interim if I'm not receiving a paycheck? Consistently I'm seeing online companies that are hiring, and these are the companies that typically don't pay their workers a lot, and they're not really highly sought after. A lot of people are like, okay, I'm going to go to college to be a doctor. I'm going to go to college to be a lawyer. I'm going to go to be a college to be a judge or help in some way in that way. But it's so interesting in this time, because the jobs that people typically look down on are the jobs who are helping our country move. So in the fast food industry, in the pharmacy industry, going to the places that, sometimes people use as like one of the milestones to getting towards the career they want. It might be a time for you to go back to those milestone type places. What do I mean by that? One of the milestone places in my career was that I used to work retail. I worked at a restaurant. Those are, I see as my milestone career moves. Those help me build the skills. And you can best believe, if I have to pivot to go work in those places, I'm going to make sure that I use the skills I have now, and I'm going to add to those skills. So I'm leaving you with those three things. Find out what the benefits are, find out what the challenges are, and develop your pivot plan. I'm so happy that you all joined me on this Careers and Coffee Chat. We'll be right back here on Tuesday at 10:30 a.m., but you don't have to wait. You can head over to the podcast, Cubicle Conversations. You can head over to Cubicle Country, our LinkedIn group. And you can head over to the website to find out so much more, jessicacanty.com. Bye for now.